with EXP's growth compared to old-fashioned models. At eXp Realty, we've eliminated old-fashioned bloat by removing franchises, territories, brick and mortar, and redundant layers of management. By doing this, we've created opportunity to give equity back to the agents and have made the agent the focal point of their business. We do this by having multiple income opportunities within our Welcome to eXp Realty. This is an overview of one of the most innovative real estate brokerage models today. A global community designed, powered, and owned by our agents and partners, transforming the real estate experience. Our family of agents build their own businesses while having equity opportunities in eXp World Holdings. As technology has transformed entertainment, hospitality, transportation, and retail, it's now transforming the real estate industry. There's been little to no innovation with the old-fashioned real estate models. Franchise brokerages all start with the company at the top, which feeds down to regions, followed by offices or market centers, followed by a local manager or team leader. The focus was on the brokerage and their brand, not on the agent and their business. The evolution of real estate brokerages has always been driven by how agents get paid. This can be clearly seen with eXp's growth compared to old-fashioned models. At eXp Realty, we've eliminated old-fashioned bloat by removing franchises, territories, brick and mortar, and redundant layers of management. By doing this, we've created opportunity to give equity back to the agents and have made the agent the focal point of their business. We do this by having multiple income opportunities within our model and leveraging our fully immersive cloud office environment where agents enjoy 24/7 access to state-of-the-art collaborative tools, coaching, support, and socialization. eXp Realty continues to experience consistent record-breaking year-over-year growth with a mission to reach 1 million agents globally. It all began in the United States and Canada, with eXp Realty perfecting the model over the first 10 years, laying the foundation for our global expansion. Our international footprint now expands over 6 of the 7 continents. Our core values define our culture and ensure decisions are always aligned. Like being agile allows us to make adjustments at any time for our agents and their clients. eXp is at the forefront of technology. Every agent gets their own lead generation CRM system called KV Core. For a non-eXp agent, it could cost over $5,000 a year. This industry-leading system provides you with a behavioral-driven, personalized IDX website, CRM, email, and text campaigns. You'll always be notified of your contact's behavior, helping you convert and close more transactions. SkySlope allows agents to manage their business totally paperless. This all-in-one transaction management system helps you effortlessly stay organized with your transactions. All of your important data is contained on one detailed checklist, so you have everything in one place. One of our top priorities is building our own technology. Our back-office business intelligence center gives agents both autonomy and great visibility into their business. Within your dashboard, you'll be able to monitor your performance metrics, commissions, revenue share, equity awards, transactions, and more. Whether you need a quick postcard or a full presentation, the Exp Marketing Center has it all. You can edit marketing collateral within minutes by choosing from over 5,000 marketing pieces. In fact, when a new listing is added to your MLS, you'll get an email with marketing items created automatically for your listing. Welcome to eXp World, our 3-dimensional virtual cloud-based office environment. Meet, learn, and collaborate with agents and staff from anywhere with an internet connection. Join a meeting or training within a community via your phone, tablet, or computer. In eXp World, agents get real-time live support from our over 1,000 full-time staff members. Access over 80 hours of live training weekly in eXp World. Our training focuses on industry best practices, how to grow profitable real estate business, professional development, and much more. These sessions are taught not only by our highly experienced training department professionals, but also by our top producing agents and teams from around the world. eXp Realty agents also have access to Workplace by Facebook, which is a dedicated and secure working space to connect, communicate, and collaborate with other agents and eXp staff. You'll be able to use familiar Facebook features like newsfeed, groups, messages, and events to get things done quickly and efficiently. We understand that some agents enjoy the office setting from time to time, which is why every agent at EXP gets a global membership to Regis shared offices and their new brand spaces. Regis offers 3,000 office locations in over 900 cities in 120 countries. Every agent at EXP has the opportunity to become a shareholder in EXP World Holdings. Earn equity awards for closing your first transaction each year, capping each year. And every time an agent you attracted joins EXP and does their first transaction. Our agent equity program helps agents prepare for retirement. You can elect to take 5% of your gross commission per transaction and buy the company's stock at a 10% discount. Our ticker symbol is EXPI. Note that some stock awards are subject to vesting. EXP's Icon Agent program is unmatched within the industry. Our founder, Glenn Sanford, strongly believes that top producing agents should be rewarded for their contribution. There are two ways to qualify for Icon status: $5,000 paid in post-cap transaction fees, or $500,000 annual GCI with a minimum of 10 closed transactions. When you achieve Icon status, you'll receive 100% of your cap that you paid to EXP back in the form of company stock, essentially putting you at a 100% commission split. One of the most exciting aspects of our compensation plan is our revenue sharing model, which allows you to build a monthly leveraged income by attracting productive agents to the company. Here's a breakdown of how the revenue sharing model works. Tier 1 contains the agents that you personally attracted to the brokerage. For each transaction on this tier, you'll get 3.5% of their total commission. This amount is taken out of EXP's 20%, not out of the agent's 80% commission. Once the agent has hit their annual cap, they start receiving 100% of their commissions. You therefore no longer receive income from their deals for the remainder of the year, which is why the max you can earn on this tier per agent is $2,800. You can earn on all 7 tiers, but it's contingent upon how many agents you've personally attracted to the brokerage and their level of production. For example, if you attract 5 producing agents, you earn exponential share in commissions on Tier 1 and Tier 2, which are agents that your Tier 1 agents attracted. If you attracted 10 producing agents, you earn exponential share in commissions on Tier 1, Tier 2, and also on Tier 3, which are agents that your Tier 2 agents attracted. On Tiers 4 through 7, you'll still receive a reduced share in commissions, which is called our expansion sharing. So let's go through a quick example of how you can create a monthly leveraged income through the revenue share program. Here's you. You personally attract 5 capping agents. Then, each of those 5 agents attract 5 capping agents of their own, giving you 5 agents of Tier 1 and 25 agents on Tier 2. For the 5 capping agents on Tier 1, you earn up to $2,800 each. And for the 25 capping agents on Tier 2, you earn up to $3,200 each, giving you an annual leveraged income of up to $94,000. But note that these figures are based on each one of these agents capping, which is approximately selling $2.7 million of real estate per year, with an average commission of 3%. You can speak to an EXP agent or staff member for further explanation. Express offers a revolutionary new home selling option for homeowners who want to skip the hassle and uncertainty of a traditional home sale. The platform connects sellers with institutional buyers who can pay cash and close quickly. Unlike other iBuyer platforms, Express Offers allows agents to receive real estate commissions. At EXP, you'll never pay a desk fee, royalty fee, or franchise fee. Every agent is treated equally and is on an 80-20 split, which caps each year at $16,000. You then receive 100% commission for the remainder of your year. Here's the amazing part. It's only $149 to join EXP, and that includes your first month's $85 brokerage fee. On each transaction, there's a $25 broker review fee and a $40 risk management fee. The risk management fee caps at $500 each year. We're also excited to announce that we've added a low-cost healthcare alternative. Our agents get a one-on-one virtual consultation to ensure they've selected the right plan. Exp Realty continues to set industry records, becoming the #1 independent brokerage in the U.S. for closed transactions. For more information, reach out to the agent who shared this video with you.
All right, let's do a solo layout real quick. How are you? This is Sam Silver, Exp Realty. I'm sharing our charitable gifts of real estate masterclass today. If you want my information, you could scan, let's see, which way? Oh, scan over here. If you look up, this is my digital business card. You can scan that, or you could scan up in the corner. Let's see. Oh, wrong way. up in the corner right there. You could scan that as well, and with your phone. And a QR code will take you to my digital business card. Or you can get a hold of me on this phone number right around on my shoulder, 661-418-7325, 661-418-REAL. Whether you need real estate, you have any questions about what we're doing with the charitable gifts of real estate, how we're helping to give millions and billions back to nonprofits in your community. If you are a hero or you know a hero, let's see if I could do this. Yep, there we go. Go to samsheroes.com, right down there in the corner, samsheroes.com. Let me know how may assist you, easy for me to say. And we're going to get started with charitable gifts of real estate. Thank you so much for coming and enjoy this streaming video. Let me make sure I have my mic on so you can hear. Let's see. I don't want to.
Charitable Gifting of Real Estate Masterclass. We are real estate for real change. We call these legacy listings because every donation of real estate must be listed and liquidated in order to leave legacy for the nonprofits, the donors, and the advisors that are helping them. Now, this warning is really to be taken seriously. If you are not a go-getter, a do-gooder, a trailblazer, ready to take action on what you're getting ready to learn, then I highly recommend that you just stop now. Don't even watch. The next couple of hours because you are going to learn the truth. The truth is, proceeds from gifts of real estate will always be a better way to fund nonprofits, better than any traditional fundraiser, period. So for us to learn this information and then sit in on committee meetings and fundraisers and sit in on Facebook conversations about how nonprofits need to get funded and how our veterans and our children and our animals and our churches and our communities are suffering for lack of funds, to be a part of those conversations when you know what you're getting ready to learn with us and not speak up, friends, it is the biggest form of hypocrisy imaginable. We have a book coming out, Real Estate is Hot, Fundraising is Not, and that book starts with the same warning, because we know when you bring this to your community, they are grateful, they are thankful. The donors need to know, the nonprofits need to know, the real estate agents and all the community visionary leaders need and deserve to know what you're getting ready to learn. And frankly, if you're not willing to have this conversation with people, it's just not recommended that you watch. But if you're here with us to get into the next slide, then let's make a difference. Let's truly help our whole communities. So there are 5 keys that leverage real estate for real change. The first key is to learn what charitable gifting of real estate is. First key is unlock. You are in the master class. You have key number 1 right now. Key number 2 is to lead generate, because there's no point in knowing what this is if we're not going to go out and find donations of real estate and talk to people in the community and lead generate for our businesses and our nonprofits. Key number 3 is listing and liquidating. So once we know what charitable gifting of real estate is, once we've started to lead generate and those donors are bringing the donations to the table, now we got a list. Now we have the opportunity, the blessing, the gift of being able to list a legacy listing and liquidate it. Key number 4 is leverage. How do we leverage real estate for real change? Because once again, we can lead generate and bring a donation to the table, but to leverage is to position, partner, promote together. And we'll talk more about that as the day goes on. And then of course, key number 5 is leaving that legacy. The legacy that is left by the nonprofits, the donors, and all those who are part of what we're doing is massive. Now, we want to share with you the difference between being a specialist and a champion. So, knowledge. They're head smart. They know a little something different than everyone else in their industry or marketplace. So key number 1, learn, will help you be a specialist. In our case, a charitable real estate specialist. And as we start to get into the other keys, this first key, if you decide to become a certified charitable real estate specialist, you get on this map. Now, on the map, we have different colors of emblems. The gold are the real estate agents. The blue is nonprofits. The pink are the other people like financial advisors. In other words, you can become a specialist and get on the map and leave it at that. But champions actually start to take on the other keys. So when we become that specialist, what happens is we take this master class, we pay a licensing fee that gives us a year's worth of ability to use the logos and the trademarks. We pass the certification exam, and bam, we become a certified charitable real estate specialist. That's what it is to be a specialist. You get certified, you get on the map, and you start meeting and mingling with the specialized nonprofit that you'll be hearing about in just a moment. But champions go from being in our head to getting into our heart. Champions are the ones that take bold action, that take a stand for those that they say that they're here to serve. And instead of just saying it, they walk their walk and talk their talk. So when we become a champion, we get into that lead generation and the listing and liquidating and the leveraging and the leaving of the legacy. This, my friend, is what it looks like to be a champion. The woman on the left is a nonprofit. She is the executive director for The Haven in Sarasota, Florida. The woman in the middle is a real estate agent. And then myself, and that was Jessica Peterson, by the way. We love to give a shout out to Jessica because she's introduced us to this nonprofit and dozens more. And of course, I'm taking a knee, showing you what this looks like. See, this photo was taken to go into our book, Real Estate is Hot, Fundraising is Not. It is also part of our media PR campaign to go into the newspaper so that everyone in the area knows we don't have to suffer and struggle anymore. We can get funded. So let's talk about what we're going to be doing here in the master class. Section number 1, we get into the concepts, collaborators, like what are we doing? Who are the real agents of change? Who is this specialized nonprofit? Who are all the players here? Just so that you can understand who the players are that you will be partnering with. Section 2, the benefits and strategies. Friends, there is a whole laundry list of reasons why this benefits nonprofits, donors, advisors. We're going to talk about all of that. Section number 3 are the details, the documents, the do's and don'ts, what qualifies as a donation of real estate, etc. Section number 4, we're going to get into, are you a specialist or are you a champion? Meaning, if by the end of this master class, you will have more knowledge, more skill than 99.9% of the people in your marketplace or industry, no matter where you are or what industry you're in. You will have the ability to be a specialist. However, it is imperative for you to be a champion, to take action and start talking to people. And that's completely up to you. Section number 5, we get into who to talk to, what to say, how to say it. Because once again, knowing what it is one thing. What to do with it, well, that's another conversation. So why are you here? Friends, you are here to procure that first donation of real estate. And by the way, you'll notice that there are words that are underlined in this presentation. If you are wanting to get certified, there is a workbook. My assistant can put it in the chat to the side. And you want to have this workbook and go along with it and fill in the blank, whether you print it out and go along and fill it in with a pen, or if you're just keeping up with this. Just want to let you know that's why those words are underlined, so that you know what would be on the test. If you're not becoming a certified specialist, don't worry about it. Now, that first number, 600,000, what does that mean? Let's give you an example so that we can talk about what charitable leverage is. Piece of property is appraised at $600,000. Now, in this example, just to keep the numbers round and easy, let's just say that it's free and clear, there's no mortgage to pay off, $600,000 appraised value. Now, the realtor would get a full commission to list and liquidate this donation of real estate. Let's say that full commission is 6%. There's $36,000 going to the realtor. Now it's split between the buying agent and the selling agent, but you get the drift. They're getting a full commission. To the client or the donor, here's where this number comes from. Because they are donating this piece of real estate that's valued at $600,000, number one, they are not paying capital gains tax. So it depends. What is their tax bracket? What was the basis when they bought the property? There's so many variables, but right off the bat, let's say that there is a 28%, 30% that they're not giving to the government for for capital gains tax. That's 200 grand right there. And when they take this 600,000 that they can use as the basis for their tax deduction that comes off of their adjusted gross income, imagine you got your tax return. 600,000 comes off of your income that you're paying taxes on. There's another 275,000 that you're not giving to the government. So that's where that number comes from. The donor is saving $275,000 in taxes to the government. Now, your favorite nonprofit. $600,000 is, let's say that's the appraised value and the sales price. After the $36,000 comes off for the commission, there is $564,000 that are going to the nonprofit world because of this donation. Nothing's going to Uncle Sam, so the full proceeds are going to the nonprofit world. So if you add all that up, that $600,000 property is now leveraged to be a value of $875,000 because it's that much of a value to the community at large. You know, we get into a little bit more of these details if you sit in on the open office hours with our specialized nonprofit. They can get into all the nuances of the numbers and the tax deductions and all that stuff. This is simply giving you the concept of what we mean by charitable leverage, how to take a piece of property valued at $600,000 and make it worth $875,000. Now, why else are you here? Charitable gifting of real estate gives whether you're for-profit or nonprofit, it gives you the ability to strengthen relationships. You're giving a new tool, a new option to your donors as a nonprofit. You're giving a new option to your clients as a realtor. You are able to gain access to new communities, new donor base, high net worth individuals who not only want to learn about this, but are so grateful when you teach it to them that they're going to actually introduce you to others that are high net worth and or generous. This raises your profile. Whether we're talking about personal or professional, when you are now an advisor to help people give smarter, it raises your profile. And as a real estate agent that earns full commissions, and you can add value for you, your clients, your nonprofit, your community. So now we're talking about that whole charitable leverage. More introductions, more referrals, more fees, more commissions, more donations to the nonprofit world. This is a unique value proposition. It requires no selling. Friends, we do not sell a nonprofit on wanting to bring in 6 times more than what nonprofits who only take in cash. So nonprofits who take in cash versus nonprofits who benefit from non-cash assets, in our case, real estate, grow at 6 times what they would have if they only take cash. Financial outcomes, we just talked about the charitable leveraging. Ultimately, we are making money, making a difference. And that is why we are here. A couple of other things to consider about why you're here. Nonprofit world is a major force. Did you know 1 out of every 10 people you meet or know works for a nonprofit? Major gifts of assets is the most important topic in the nonprofit conferences. This is the awakening. Dr. Russell James is one of our biggest advocates. He has written the foreword for our book, Real Estate is Hot, Fundraising is Not. And he talks about major gifts of assets on a weekly basis. Real estate is the largest asset class in America. 43% of our wealth as a nation is held in real estate. Potential changes to the tax policy. Look, if they start limiting the 1031 tax exchange or increasing capital gains tax, this is a good option and opportunity for people who need to avoid those taxes. New money from gifts of real estate, potential exceeds over $20 billion a year. You're going to learn here that $9 billion a year is already donated to nonprofits through gifts of real estate, but experts say that 2% can go to 6% very easily, and that's why we are here. So here's what you're going to learn today. You're going to learn, why have I never heard of this before? We hear that question all the time. It was the first question I thought when I was sitting in a conference 2.5 years ago. How can I have been in real estate for 15 years and working with groups from, Ronald McDonald House and Make-A-Wish and all these fundraisers? Why have I never heard of this before? Who would give their valuable asset of real estate away? You'll learn about that. Why a specialized nonprofit is so important. You'll learn who are the real agents of change, those of us who are here to teach this topic and to bring it to the world. What is charitable leverage? We just talked about that, how to take that valuable piece of property and leverage it to make it worth even more. What do I do with this knowledge? So now that I know what it is, what am I supposed to do with it? How to find the first charitable gift of real estate, you're going to learn about that. And how do I leverage real estate for real change? Social responsibility, positioning, partnering, and promoting together to leverage our resources and relationships for more revenue for the nonprofit world and the for-profit world. So you may have questions. What we would like for you to do is write them down. You can enter them in the chat box. During this special edition, we are going to go through the information really quick. We are going to hold all questions until the end of the whole presentation this time. And the case studies that we normally show in between, we're going to hold all of those to the end as well. So if you have any of these questions, just pop them in. And at the end of our 2 hours together, if you'd like to hang tight, I'll answer the questions at the end. So to get right into the nitty gritty, let's get into this section 1. Section 1, concepts, collaborators. What is this all about? What are we doing here? Let's mention what the connection is between philanthropy, real estate, and the IRS tax code. These are all definitions that I needed to learn and that a lot of people, keep in mind, 99% of folks have never even heard of what we're getting ready to talk about. So let's lay a foundation. Philanthropy and the IRS tax code. Philanthropy truly is when you give any of your time, talent, and treasure to make the world a better place. This is the definition of philanthropy. You do not need to be a Bill Gates. You do not need to be the one donating the real estate or even the real estate agent that is selling the property. You're a philanthropist simply by being here and investing your time right now to learn how to better mankind. 501c3. People ask all the time, what is that? It is an IRS designation for qualified organizations that provide goods and services for the public good. Now, this whole tax deduction thing was introduced in 1917 for charitable gifts of all kinds, not just real estate, but we focus on the donations of real estate to these 501c3s so that they can be liquidated and fund the programs that they are wanting to fund. So this law was put in place to incentivize all taxpayers, not just the wealthy. We have lots of great stories about people who aren't wealthy. They just donated real estate because it was the right thing to do. Charitable gifting of real estate to a qualified 501c3. That's what a gift is. It's donating it to a 501c3. It provides the nonprofit an asset that it can sell to fund its programs. It entitles the donor to a tax deduction against that adjusted gross income. If the asset is appreciated, if the asset was bought years ago and now it's gone up in appreciation, then they can avoid the capital gain tax that would normally be owed. Sounds simple enough. It really does. It's simple enough to imagine all these nonprofits with all the donors that love them wanting to donate real estate. And believe me, it happens every day. We talk to so many nonprofits who have been receiving phone calls for years of people wanting to donate real estate, and they just didn't know what to do with it. It's the nonprofits themselves that have been stopping these donations. So here's the solution. It's this thing called a specialized nonprofit that exclusively accepts gifts of real estate. They provide the tax benefits for the donors. They absorb all the title and financial risk inherent in all real estate gifts. They work with the brokerage community to sell the real estate. In other words, any marketplace where the real estate is, they work with a local broker to make sure that the value is there. They pay those brokers, those real estate agents, a full commission to sell the property. Friends, this is important because even though we're helping donors give property away, and even though we're helping nonprofit, we want our real estate friends to know we don't want you to do it for free. They grant the proceeds to any and all nonprofits. Now, these are just a handful, just to give you an idea of all the nonprofits that have actually benefited from gifts of real estate. Keeping in mind, this has been around for 100 years. All of these have benefited. The one at the top, Fidelity Charitables, we point out, because there's 1.3 million nonprofits, and they are the biggest one right at the top. They bring in $9 to $13 billion a year themselves, and even they don't want to handle their own gifts of real estate. Here's colleges, churches, public radio, soup kitchen, you name a genre of nonprofit, and there are nonprofits who have benefited from gifts of real estate. So here's why this specialized nonprofit was created. 43% of our wealth in this country is held in real estate. You see the little pie chart down there? The fact is, cash reserves, pocket change, money that we have just, in cash is only 3%. Our wealth is held in real estate. Yet, only 2% of what the nonprofit world brings in comes from real estate. You'll notice that huge 90% of the pie is coming from 3% of cash. But the 43% of real estate wealth, only 2%. So when you look at that, of the $474 billion a year that comes into nonprofits, there is $9 billion that's coming from real estate, even though 99% of us have never heard of it. So here's the opportunity I was mentioning earlier. That 2% could easily shift to 6.5%. So the $9 billion right now could be $29 billion a year. I want you to sit with that for a second. $9 billion right now, when 99% of the population is clueless. But With people like us, letting people like you know about it, it will shift to 29 billion a year. The question is your nonprofit going to get a piece of that pie? So when you look at the numbers, if the sales per year are 29 billion in real estate, or in other words, 29 billion is donated to nonprofit, that's almost 2 billion a year to our real estate friends in commissions. The average donation is 540 to 550,000. As a matter of fact, last year it was actually 557,000. So the commissions are a big part of why the real estate community is getting involved. Every sale needs a local broker, which is exactly why this group was created. The Real Agents of Change was created so that all of the real estate, all of the financial advisors, all of the businesses and communities out there can learn not only how to help fund the nonprofits they love, but how to actually build their business from it. The goal is to make you proactive versus reactive. So my name is Cammie Baker. I was a top 5% realtor. I was on House Hunters way back in the day when I was doing all this promoting as a real estate agent. I learned when I had a car show that I was doing and we were donating all the money to the local nonprofits, I learned that when I was talking to people about the nonprofit work, when I was talking to them about how all this money went to the Live and Let Live farm to rescue horses or to help our firefighters who had died in the line of duty, I learned just by experience that people love to do business with people who are proactive and socially responsible. And because of that, when I learned about charitable gifting of real estate, I realized, oh, we can go from fundraising, holding fundraisers where we are begging our friends to buy raffle tickets and go to another golf tournament, etc. I realized, wow, charitable real estate specialist certification class. What if we taught people about this so that these nonprofits could get $500,000 on average from one donor? So I've got the real estate experience, top 5% in real estate. I have been to thousands of networking events. I've been to 5 to 7 networking events in a day. I've got the nonprofit experience because just by osmosis, I learned that people love to do business. We call it cause marketing campaigns, marketing your business with a cause in mind. Once again, we were creating those. So it just made sense to have a win-win-win for everyone. 2.5 years ago, I'm sitting in that conference, and with my filter of real estate and nonprofit background and realizing that only 2% is being given to nonprofits through gifts of real estate, we came up with this system. And that's why you're here. Now, we've got this book that just got finished. It's not even red hot off the presses yet. We've got the PDF. It's ready to start being promoted. This book, my friends, will be in the hands of all nonprofits. It will go in the hands of real estate companies who want to share it with the real estate agents, the financial services industries. And over to the right, List a Legacy listing is a month in April. We leverage it as a national awareness campaign so that people know when they are listing a legacy listing, the whole community works together. So this is the end of section 1. What we're going to do is actually go ahead and jump into section number 2. Please keep any questions written and just hold it to the side, and I will address them at the end. Section number 2. What are the benefits of all this to all the stakeholders? What are the strategies? How does it work? Why is it a win-win-win for everyone? Let's talk about this key holders concept. I like to think of it as the triangle of trust, but there's 3 major key holders. Number 1, there's the donors. Donors can be private, donors can be corporate. We're talking right now about donors of real estate. The advisory community. When you think about advisors, think about anyone who advises people who own real estate. So whether it's a tax accountant, a financial planner, a real estate agent, any of the people who are advising clients who own real estate. And then, of course, there are the nonprofits, the public charities, the donor advised funds, which is something that you'll learn about here shortly in this module. So, triangle of trust. We need donors, we need nonprofits, and we need advisors to make these donations happen. So, the donors are a yes. When it comes to donations of real estate, they want to donate. They're already doing it. They're already calling nonprofits and trying to donate. They're a yes. They get it. They're in. The advisors, well, they're a yes. Of course, they want to be able to advise their clients on how to be more philanthropic and get the tax deductions. The advisors understand this is a great way to meet and mingle all kinds of heart-centered people that they never would have met before. They're a yes. It's the nonprofit. The nonprofits are the no. Most nonprofits must say no because it's in their bylaws. They just flat out can't donate real estate because it is too complex. Friends, just the thought of accepting a gift of real estate and taking title and who's going to manage it and where's the money going to come from, it's enough to make anybody's head explode. They won't do it because it's too complex. There is so much risk. Nonprofits are averse to risk, just like most people are. They have the lack of available funds. What does that mean? Look, a lot of these donations require capital. What if there's a mortgage to be paid off? What if it needs repair? What if it needs holding costs for the next 3 to 6 months while it's on the market? It is very scary. They have a lack of expertise. This whole mission drift is super important. If a nonprofit's mission is to help animals or veterans or education with universities or churches, whatever their mission is, if they start getting bogged down with a complicated, risky real estate transaction, it drifts them off their mission. And we don't want that. They were created to save, serve, support, not do real estate donations. They have had bad experiences that haunt them personally or other nonprofits they've talked to. The fact is, they are just blocked by these gift acceptance policies that are completely restricted and say, no, we don't take anything but cash, especially not real estate. Most won't even talk about it. They won't even ask for a gift of real estate. Why would they? They wouldn't know how to handle it. So some of these nonprofits will say things like, you know what? We took a gift of real estate once and we will never do that again. Or they say, we do accept real estate if it's, like really checks a whole bunch of boxes, if it's on limited basis, if it's mortgage free and local. And even if they do accept it, there's time consuming board approval. When someone's wanting to donate real estate, They don't have months and months of waiting for the board to get together and figure out will they take it. They need to have the convenience of answers now. They will never, even the ones who accept real estate, under some circumstances, maybe they got somebody that can come up with $100 grand, but typically, if there's any cash payments, mortgages, donors who want cash, they just say no. They say no to most offers. So as you see on the right, it is the nonprofits themselves, the ones that stand to gain billions of dollars in donations. They are the ones that are blocking the market. And frankly, I'm not surprised. It is very confusing and awkward. And we are not ever going to be suggesting in this master class or any of our trainings that nonprofits do start taking gifts of real estate themselves. We want them just to benefit from the proceeds, and we'll show you how that works. So, specialized nonprofit. Now remember, their mission is to accept any real estate of any kind from anywhere, taking on all financial and environmental risks that are inherent in real estate. They are the ones that convert the real estate into cash. They provide the proceeds that can be granted to any of the nonprofits that the donor wants to have it. So when the specialized nonprofit stands in as the nonprofit that is needed, then the other nonprofits can benefit. So here's what the awakening is saying. Non-cash versus cash gifts. Endowments grow at 6 times the rate when it is a non-cash asset accepting, or when it's a nonprofit that benefits from non-cash assets versus cash. They can grow at 6 times the rate, as per our friend Dr. Russell James, and we have the report to share that with you. Donors can give 3 to 7 times more. There's so many experts, including Jackie Franey at the Nature Conservancy. They are proving that the donors that are already on the nonprofit's donor list can give 3 to 7 times more. No additional donors are needed. They're simply switching to a new type of asset that is instantaneous. Anyone would know that working with the donors or the customers or the clients you have right now is way easier than going out and trying to find new people. So all of these experts are helping to move the mission forward. In shifting gift acceptance policies, there is no need to accept gifts of real estate. They are just able to safely ask, because we are now providing a real estate department, a real estate team that helps them to ask with confidence, because they know that they've got a team to handle it for them. Now, the collaboration, do what you do best. We say this all the time, do what you do best and refer the rest. So the nonprofit's strength is strengthening their donor interest. The nonprofits promote their cause. Their job is not to go try to figure out these donations of real estate. It's simply to keep promoting their cause to their donors. They are cultivating that emotional connection. We know that whether it's been weeks, months, years, decades, that they have these strong connections with their donors. They can share the benefits of the non-cash assets and the non-cash gifts with their donors. They can start asking for gifts of real estate confidently, with conviction, knowing that there is no risk to them in the way that we do it here. So the specialized nonprofit, what do they do best? They accept and fix and sell and grant the money to the other nonprofits. They intervene, as we can see on the right-hand side, they intervene in that triangle so that the other nonprofits can benefit. In essence, the specialized nonprofit is the nonprofit for all nonprofits. They provide the resources all gifts of real estate require. They solve the complexity of the entire gift. And believe you me, over the last 2 or 3 years, I realized how complex these gifts can be, especially when it comes to dealing with the IRS and the tax papers and all that stuff. And they grant the bulk of the net proceeds to the other nonprofits. That's what they do best. The Rock helps to bring us all together. Let's talk specifically about each of the triangle of trust, the benefits to the donors, the benefits to the nonprofit, and the benefits to the advisors. Benefits to the donors. They avoid this significant capital gains tax. You know, when people say to me, I can't believe that people just give their real estate away. Don't they want to leave it to their heirs? There are a lot of people who just need to avoid capital gains tax. We don't know what their situation is. It's our job just to give them an option, an opportunity that they can do something different. Benefit to the donor is that they qualify for a tax deduction against their adjusted gross income. So just like our example in the very beginning, that $600,000 property, if they donated the whole amount to that nonprofit, that is $600,000 that is coming off of their income that they do not have to pay income tax on. Now, this is important. They can preserve their liquid assets to protect their lifestyle. What does that mean? If we are asking donors to give cash out of their pocket, that is a liquid asset that they have to decide, do I want to give $1,000 to my nonprofit, or do I want to buy gifts for my kids at Christmas? Do I want to buy $100 worth of raffle tickets, or do I want to take my family to dinner tonight? This gives them ability to protect that lifestyle. They can eliminate a complex asset from their estate. So even if they are wanting to leave the bulk of this to their children, when they can eliminate the complexity of real estate, when they can liquidate it and put the money in a donor advised fund, it makes their life a lot easier. We'll talk about that at the donor advised fund. They can simplify their asset transfers to the next generation. So once again, donor has 10 pieces of property all over the country. They've got a strip mall and an office building and a restaurant and a 10-unit apartment complex. All of this real estate that perhaps their children children wouldn't know what to do with. But when they liquidate that and put it into a donor advised fund, now they can safely transfer that $10 million of asset to their next generation of their children. It's the convenience. Please take this off my hands. You will hear our story about Linda. Linda is a donor of real estate who had a cabin in the Poconos. It was a 6-hour drive from where she lived. It was in disrepair. She would have had to hire contractors and realtors and the whole thing. It was confusing to her. When she realized she could hand over the keys and the deed, get the tax deduction, and have the convenience of not dealing with it, this was a benefit to her. And some donors don't want to donate the full value. What if it is a $1 million condo in Florida and they say, you know what, I love my nonprofit, but I can't take that big of a tax deduction. And frankly, I'd like to get $500,000 out that I can put kids in college and go on vacation. In other words, they can pull cash out for any reason. It's called a bargain sale, and we'll get into that a little bit as well. The bargain sale means that they can take that cash and they can pay off debt. They can return their initial investment. Let's say that $1 million condo, let's say they paid $300,000 for it 10 years ago, and they want to get that initial investment back. They can do that. They can tailor the size of the charitable gift. $1 million condo, they've got their accountant who says, you can't take that large of a gift, pull $500,000 cash out, donate the rest. Easy to do. They can purchase replacement life insurance. So, back to talking about their heirs, if little Billy and little Mary wouldn't know what to do with all this real estate, they can actually pull cash out of the donation, buy life insurance policies that handle the kids' inheritance much easier. Ultimately, one of the biggest benefits to the donor is that they can leave legacy. They do not need to wait until they die for the nonprofit to get the inheritance. They can actually do it while they're alive, see where the money is go, and benefit by leaving this legacy. Now, you might be saying, okay, I get it. I'm impressed. These are some great benefits, but really, who, why do people donate their real estate? Friend, 80% of the donors of real estate, the team that we use, when they talk about the people that they want to work with and that have donated real estate, 80% do it for the altruistic reasons. They are a veteran and they want to support veterans. They have 28 cats in their house and they love animals and they want to benefit the animals. They do it for the right reasons because they're heart-centered and generous. And look, 20% of them do it because it's a good business strategy. They want to avoid capital gains. They need certain tax write-offs that you and I just don't have any clue about. But that's why 20% of them do it. And remember, $9 billion a year is currently donated at an average of $550,000 per donation. That equates to about 18,000 donations, whether it's 18,000 individual people or people who donated 2 and 3 properties. Our friend Dr. James says that historically, once somebody donates a property, they see the convenience of it, they see the tax benefits of it. Historically, they will donate 2 properties in 1 year. So the moral of the story is it's happening. It's already happening. With our help, it will double in how it's happening. It's just a matter of whether or not you want your piece of the pie. And either way, what you need to know is that these people want to do it. They are grateful that you've informed them of it. They will be eager to learn more. So I can't stress enough that these donors are already in the donor list of the nonprofit world. Your favorite donor, 100, 1,000, 5,000 donors, there are gifts of real estate in those lists, and they want to learn about this. And just keep in mind that those same donors aren't only on the one donor list, they're on lots of donor lists. And if your nonprofit doesn't tell them about it, another nonprofit will, and they will be the ones that benefit. Now, where do you find these donors? I was just mentioning they're in your donor list. They are in your center of influence as a realtor. 65% of all these donations come from financial advisors, so they're in their lists as well. But the point is, you already know them. And we're going to help you identify and ferret them out and give you access to them with the right language, with the right education. And you know what? There are a lot of donors out there that maybe you don't know yet, but I guarantee you, you're going to want to know them. Let's talk for a minute about the benefits to the nonprofits. This should be pretty obvious that when 90% of what they are currently bringing in, it is reported, it is statistical, 90% of what nonprofits bring in is coming from cash. Less than 3% is held in cash. So when you can open them up to the 43% of wealth in real estate, let's talk about these benefits. Now, these are all the different categories of 501c3. These are all the different kinds of programs that are being funded by donations, by grants, by fundraisers. So just think about all of the, by the way, of the 1.3 million nonprofits, if you do the math, there are 3,000 3,006 counties in this country. $432 nonprofits on average are in every county. All these are in every county, and we can be helping them. Nonprofits, they can receive the benefits of gifts of real estate, but avoid the risk and liability. Now, these are benefits of charitable gifts of real estate in general, but this and some others are only a benefit when there is a third party that is taking title and paying off mortgages and taking on all financial responsibility. When that is the case, there is no risk. There is no liability. The nonprofits can embrace the donor's best interest, allowing the gifts they want to give of appreciated assets. Friends, we don't know what assets our donors have. And if our donors can learn to give smarter from their 43% wealth bucket as opposed to their cash pocket, their change, their pocket change, we are embracing their best interest. It strengthens donors' relationships by tapping their wealth bucket. And when you got a third party that can talk to the donor, what if the donation doesn't qualify? The nonprofit themselves don't need to have that conversation. They've referred it off, and we can handle that for them. So we are helping them to tap into their wealth bucket as opposed to the income bucket. Now, when nonprofits can grow their endowments at 6 times the rate of nonprofits who only accept cash, it is a no-brainer. See, we said in the beginning, there's a warning here. You cannot unlearn what you're learning right now. And when the nonprofit you love or work at or the committee meetings you sit on, all the nonprofits that need funding when you've now learned that they can grow their endowments at 6 times the rate of those who only take cash, it is our moral obligation to let them know. Now you know why the warning was there. They can receive 3 to 7 times more from their existing donors. We're driving this point home because a lot of the times nonprofits can fall into the scarcity mindset. I don't know anybody who would donate real estate. Yes, you do. You've just never had this conversation before. Why wouldn't you know if they would? You've never been able to talk to them about it. But see, we give you a confident way to be convicted in how you are letting your donors know, because you have a real estate team that can help them and make you look good. The nonprofits can expand the number of major gifts without adding any new names to existing donor lists. We have a nonprofit here in Sarasota where I'm recording this. She said one of the biggest benefits when she heard about this was that they don't need to find new donors. The donors they already have can simply start giving in a different way. That's a big benefit to the nonprofit world. Now, when we start talking about benefits to advisors, advisors are anyone who advise people who own real estate, CPA, estate planning attorneys, financial professionals, real estate agents, tax accountants, real estate brokers specifically. They can elevate. Now, when Dr. James did his interview with me, he mentioned that when a real estate agent can go from being a real estate agent, a real estate broker, to an advisor who is advising people on the ability to give smarter, big difference. They can switch. Now check this out. They switch from a seller to a seller that is not emotionally attached to the property. So the donor of the property is donating their property to the specialized nonprofit. Specialized nonprofit is the seller of the property now. They're the one that's signing the listing agreement. They, unlike if you were working with the original donor who had 4 kids, all wanting to give you input, all emotionally attached to grandma's house, big problem. These guys are not only not emotional, but they're savvy and they respect the opinion of the broker that they're working with. These real estate agents, broker and agent, by the way, is interchangeable. It's a real estate agent. They can earn full commissions. Matter of fact, they're guaranteed to earn a full commission. If you're a realtor and you bring this deal to the table, you bring this nonprofit to the table, you go out and talk to people in general, and you find nonprofits that want to start benefiting this way, you'll get a full commission when you're the one that lists it. Financial advisors, let's talk about them for a second. They can move the hard asset of real estate into their assets under management. Now, there are many ways that we can help a financial advisor learn how to make money, making a difference with us. But imagine, if you will, their client has $1 million condo in Florida. They cannot manage that property. But when that hard asset is liquidated and put into a donor advised fund, now they can make fees off of managing those assets. Preserving the next generation of clients goes along with that. Now that that $1 million minus any expenses, now that that $900,000 is in a donor advised fund, when the original donor, when the parents or grandparents are done with that property and they put it in a donor advised fund, it is very easy to hand over ownership of that donor advised fund to the next generation. And that is how the financial advisor can maintain their client base. Now, for all of these advisors, certification as a charitable real estate specialist is a designation that no one in your industry or marketplace has right now. By 2025, there will be charitable real estate specialists, charitable real estate divisions in real estate office, insurance offices, financial advisor offices. Nonprofits can have their own charitable real estate specialists and divisions. We teach you how to become proactive. So learning this, remember, this is key number one. We're turning the key number one of learn to you right now to know how this works. But to become proactive means to learn how to leverage it out in the marketplace, how to go out and talk to people about this in such a way that they want to start introducing you to all the people they know with 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 properties all over the country. Strengthen those relationships with existing clients, friends. People are fickle. You have 5,000 past clients. They're always shopping around and looking for a cheaper commission. They're not very loyal. But when you can let them know, hey, I am the only certified charitable real estate specialist in this industry, in this marketplace, you've just strengthened that relationship with them. Gain access to new clients. This is a sophisticated conversation. No one else in your marketplace right now is talking about this. So when your clients find out that you have this tool, you can help people give smarter. You can help people liquidate their hard asset and simplify their estate. They will introduce you to others because the others that they know don't have an advisor who understands how this works. You can leverage marketing with all of this that I'm talking about. So the case studies, letting people know how this is benefiting nonprofits all over the country, very, very powerful. And then you're expanding. You're expanding your profile. Look, everybody knows 8 or 10 or 20 realtors and financial advisors and CPAs and attorneys. You're expanding your profile when people learn that you have this specific tool and talent. Now let's talk about our financial advisor friends for just a minute. Financial advisors initiate 65% of major gifts. This is so important for you to remember, because even though everyone wants to go talk to their nonprofit friends, and they should, they need to let them know. What we want you to know, the donations are moreover coming from the financial advisor world. Their favorite nonprofit is this donor advised fund that we've been talking about. Now, I was in this world for a year before I really understood this. I'm going to break it down for you in layman's terms. If you already understand this, please excuse that I'm going to dummy it down, but this is going to help you, financial advisor who already understands this. Let your nonprofit world listen to this. Let your realtors know. Donor advised fund, a fund that is advised by the donor. I know it sounds simple, but I'll explain why. The fastest growing public charity in the nonprofit world, donor advised fund, a charitable investment fund regulated as a public charity, funded by a donor one time or periodically. So that piece of real estate that is liquidated, let's say the donor doesn't have a nonprofit in mind, or they love their church, but they only want to, let's say they put $1 million in their donor advised fund. Maybe they want to give $100,000 to that church every year for 10 years. It is administered by a qualified sponsor. Going to talk about who that is in a minute. Fidelity Charitables, Schwab, American Endowment Foundation, all of these organizations are what is called a qualified sponsor, directed by the donor. So that $1 million was that piece of real estate was liquidated. The $1 million went into a donor advised fund, and now it is directed by the donor to grant the funds to any nonprofits that they want. And 1 year, 3 years, 10 years, they can divvy it out over their lifetime. It is an alternative to a private foundation, which entitles the donor to a tax deduction, and the fund grows tax-free. So let's say that piece of real estate is liquidated, the money is put into a donor advised fund. They take that tax donation, which can be divvied up over years, and now that it's in there, the financial advisor is managing those funds, they're earning fees, and the fund is growing from taxes or from interest that is made. Donor can make periodic contributions, meaning they sold that condo, they put $1 million into it. Maybe now they're funding it with Bitcoin. Maybe for some reason they have other cash that they want to put in, or business interest that can be put in. Donor can make periodic grants to other nonprofits, kind of redundant. So the donor can say, you know what, I want to give $10,000 to this kid's scholarship. I want to give $5,000 to this domestic abuse nonprofit that I love. I want to give $10,000 a year to the American Humane Society. They do with it what they please. Any size, any time, any anonymous or non-anonymous donation. Advantages to the financial advisor about these donor advised funds. The direction of the charitable account can include or be passed to others, say from the initial donor to the next generation. So once again, financial advisors been around for decades. They're in their 50s, 60s, 70s. They've got this book of business of people that are also in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. When these people pass on, that donor or that financial advisor, look, they need more clients. They would love to be able to maintain the 30 and 40-year-old children that are coming up. When all of these major gifts of assets like real estate can be liquidated, put into a donor advised fund, and then that is left to the heirs, it gives them a chance to maintain that client base. Same thing, donor advised, financial advisor is often allowed to earn fees. So assets under management, the financial advisor makes money. One of the many ways they make money is to have assets that they manage, and they make fees from those. Contributing real estate to a donor advised fund converts that hard asset into the assets under management. We're doing a little bit of redundancy here, but we want you to hear it in several ways, and to go back and listen to this recording and really understand what a donor advised fund is. And for you, those of you who are nonprofits, maybe you have your own animal shelter or your own domestic abuse, and you're saying, well, I don't want our financial advisors and our real estate friends putting it in a donor advised fund. I want to get all the money right now to my nonprofit. But friends, what you want to do is make friends with these financial advisors, because they have clients with millions and millions of dollars in donor advised funds. And the purpose of having these funds is so that the donor can advise the funds to nonprofits. So you see how there's a beautiful correlation here. The donor advised funds, popular DAF sponsors, are among the largest public charities in America. Fidelity Charitables. Friends, the reason that this is the largest charity in this country is because people are liquidating their hard assets and putting it in these donor advised funds. It is a tax write-off. It is a way for them to simplify their estates. Suffice it to say, Fidelity Charitables, Schwab, National Philanthropic Trust, Vanguard, National Christian Foundation, American Endowment Foundation. I actually did an interview with Laura Maloney at American Endowment Foundation. They and Fidelity Charitables leverage the same specialized nonprofit that we do, because these groups don't want to handle real estate either. As a matter of fact, a lot of them will just flat out turn down donations of real estate. Financial advisor says to their client, hey, let's liquidate this real estate for a donor advised fund, and the donor advised fund doesn't know what to do with it. That's why the Real Agents of Change are here to help pull all of these resources together. So once again, they don't accept real estate except on a limited basis. They refer most to a third-party specialized nonprofit, just like the ones that we work with. Now, why nonprofits, realtors, financial advisors, visionary leaders? Why would you want to become a charitable real estate specialist or a charitable real estate champion? We at The Rock are the only systems, support, and strategy to find the real estate donations, to handle the real estate donations, to position, partner, and promote, to find and handle more real estate donations. This is why realtors want to be on that map. Nonprofits want to be on that map. Financial advisors want to be on that map. Our job is to help you find the donations and to handle the donations and to position, partner, and promote together so that we have cause marketing campaigns that help all of us make money making a difference. And we have the only national database of all these specialists. So this map is just an example. There have been many more added since we took this picture. If you don't see your state, good. Congratulations. You'll be the first. Your marketing will always be. You were the first in North Dakota, for example. If you see some in your states, good. There are others there that you can partner with and play with. Friends, there is billions of dollars in donations to nonprofits, hundreds of millions in commission for real estate agents, fees for financial advisors, and all kinds of ways to promote social responsibility. 87% of consumers want to work with the companies and products and service providers that are on purpose. This map is growing to be the largest social responsibility campaign ever created. That's why you want to be on the map. Now that we're at end of section 2, what I'd like to do is just take a quick 5-minute break. It is 1:15. Let's come back at 1:20 and we'll jump into section number 3. Invited you, can get you the link for that. If you want to sit, we welcome you for coming. We are looking to get this. As a matter of fact, we're doing this live right now on YouTube and just recording it in a different platform. So we've got 2 minutes until we get started. I would love to talk with every one of you as we normally do. I'm just afraid we would get off track. We wouldn't get back on time. So it's 1:18. I promised 1:20 we would get started again. Please feel free to put in the chat your contact information, and in case there's anyone here that needs to know, like what market you're in, your email, your name, your link to your website, who you are, what you do. Just as an aside, from marketing perspective, position, partner, promote. Position, partner, promote. We talk about that all the time. Anytime you have the opportunity to promote your nonprofit, to promote your real estate business, to let people know that you're a tax specialist dealing with gifts of real estate, leverage that time. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you put it out there? Okay, so I am going to start sharing screen and get us back on record. And here we go. Section number 3, details, documents, do's and don'ts. What's the deal here? How can I become knowledgeable and know exactly what qualifies as a donation of real estate, and if there's any special documents that I need to know about? So when we start talking about properties that qualify, the canned simple answer to that is any real estate can qualify except a timeshare, no timeshares. And keep in mind that the real estate that qualifies needs to have equity. So when people talk about probate or short sales, this is not about distressed property. If there's no equity, there is no donation. So let's move on. Going to give you some examples just to get the wheels turning, get you really thinking about this. Examples of qualified gifts. Residential. Did you know people actually donate their primary residence? And this is about not just donating it and leaving it in your will for when you die, but what if you actually donated it now? Maybe you bought an RV and want to travel the country. Donate your primary residence. You can donate second homes, investment properties, commercial. So residential on average is $550,000 donation. Commercial is $900,000 on average. That could be multifamilies, office buildings, strip malls, restaurants, storage, hospitality, literally any kind of real estate, land, raw land. Now, we're going to talk in a minute about marketability. So if it's land out in the middle of nowhere that's landlocked and you couldn't give it away, not so much. Farms, ranches, once again, no timeshare, no timeshare, no timeshare. Now, what qualifies a property? Length of ownership. Because of what we're doing here is based on a U.S. tax code, you need to have owned it for at least a year for the capital gains tax and all of that stuff to start kicking in. So it's a year-long ownership or more. So marketability, just to be kind of clear on this, sometimes a property is not marketable right now, but it could become marketable. Let's say that it is a strip mall that's 70% vacant and the parking lot is such a mess that you can barely get in the parking lot. And right now, maybe you could sell it for, $1 million, but the appraised value is $3 million if all that was done. If the stores were full and the parking lot was paved. In other words, that property can become marketable, but what if that current owner doesn't want to take the money to fix the parking lot? What if they don't want to put the money into putting a new sign out front? In other words, if the property is donated to our specialized nonprofit and the specialized nonprofit paves the parking lot, fills up the office or the storefront, now it is marketable. So even though a property is not marketable, it can become marketable. If it comes down to something that's contaminated, well, once again, maybe right now it's not marketable, but for a couple hundred grand, it can be cleaned up. Well, now it's marketable. So marketable simply means, can this property be sold? Because when you think about it, if the specialized nonprofit is going to take title, take financial responsibility, pay taxes and insurance and hold it and all that, why would they take something that can't sell? Underlying tax circumstances are important as far as qualification, more from the perspective of, you know, is this donor trying to pull one over on the government, or are they doing this because it's the right thing and they happen to get a tax benefit? Now, let's talk about minimum equity. If the donation of real estate is being made to give $10,000 to the church, it's not worth it to go through all this. There needs to be enough meat on the bone, enough equity to make it happen. The specialized nonprofit that we work with looks for a minimum equity of $250,000. Now, they have done donations where $39,000 went to the nonprofit world. There can always be exceptions, but here's why we look for this minimum. This specialized nonprofit is going to take on all financial responsibility. They, in some cases, are spending $200,000, $500,000, $1 million, $10 million on paying off mortgages and, you know, roofs and getting the property rezoned for a higher value, etc. Their minimum to do one of these deals is $20,000. Now, I talk to a lot of specialized nonprofits. Some specialized nonprofits keep 70% of the proceeds. Some specialized nonprofits keep at least 30%. The one that we've chosen to work with, we chose to work with because they will work with any and all. Any nonprofit you love, if it's a 501c3 in this country or affiliated with a 501c3, they will work with them. Second reason is they keep the least amount of the proceeds. They never keep more than 10%, sometimes as low as 2%. On average, they keep 5.9%. So in order for them to keep with this policy of never keeping more than 10%, that's why we need $250,000 minimum. Average equity, average donation is that 550, 557 last year to be exact. So because the average is over $1 million, this minimum usually doesn't become a problem anyway. Maximum size is unlimited. So what if it is a $20 million appraised strip mall and it's got a $10 million mortgage that needs to be paid off? No worries, they can do that too. So when we do meet with nonprofits who say, yes, we do accept gifts of real estate, bravo. You're one of the few who actually understands how this works and how you can benefit. But if you're only taking real estate that's local, mortgage-free, easy, and you were offered something across the country with $1 million mortgage and a $500,000 roof and paved parking lot. In other words, because what we do, we can help with any maximum size. Sometimes we are simply an alternative to those who already take real estate. What are the documents required? Net gift estimate. So when a donor fills out our property evaluation form and takes 2 minutes to fill that out, and they are introduced to the specialized nonprofit, they will create 2 net sheet estimates comparing Here's what it looks like if you do a traditional sale and pay Uncle Sam 30% in taxes, etc. And here's what the net gift estimate looks like. You make the decision. So that's one of the documents. The second is the donation agreement, which also, it could be a donation agreement or a bargain sale. I will explain the difference. Person says, here's my $1 million condo in Florida. I am donating the full gift. I can write it off over the next 6 years anyway. Here's the key, the deed. I am donating the full value. That would require a donation agreement that is written up between the specialized nonprofit and the donor. Realtor doesn't get involved in this. The nonprofits that receive the proceeds down the road do not get involved in this. This is between the donor and the specialized nonprofit. Donation agreement. But what if that $1 million condo has a $300,000 mortgage, or it's free and clear, but they want $500,000 in cash back to them? They're going to donate the difference. If for any reason any money exchanges hands, it is called a bargain sale. And as a side note, I heard this for a year before I asked it, or before I figured this out. The reason it's called a bargain sale is because if that $1 million condo, if the specialized nonprofit needs to come out of pocket $300,000 to pay off a mortgage or give it to the donor because that's what they want, in essence, they are buying a $1 million condo at a $300,000 bargain. So they bought an asset at a bargain sale. That's why it means that. Donation disclosure agreement, just like any other real estate, you need disclosures, disclosing that there will be an appraisal done, and it will be done by a professional appraiser. So the donation disclosure is just like any other disclosure, it's just specific to the donation. IRS Form 8283 is signed by 3 parties: the appraiser, the donor, and the specialized nonprofit. So this form is sent to the IRS. The appraiser signs, I appraised it for $1 million on June 1st. Donor signs it, that's the donation, the basis for their tax deduction. And because the specialized nonprofit took the donation, that's why the 3 of them sign this and send it to the IRS to get the tax deduction rolling. Now, the IRS Form 8282 is only signed by the specialized nonprofit. When that property sells in the next 3 years, they will sign this and send it to the IRS. It's kind of a check and balance kind of thing. The 8283 said the appraisal's $1 million. That's what the donor leveraged as the basis for their tax deduction. Here it is 6 months later, it sold for $952,000. Just a checks and balance. That's how it works. The listing agreement and purchase and sales is per whatever it is in the state that this is done. So if you're a real estate agent, whatever your listing agreement is, but now the listing agreement is between you and the specialized nonprofit. So it's kind of like doing an REO, a bank-owned, a relocation package, in that all of your disclosures and listing contract, etc., is signed by the person in charge of that property now, not the person that lived in it the last 20 years, but the bank or the overseeing authority, and in this case, the specialized nonprofit. Now, this is the preliminary property evaluation. I know you can't see it very well here, but if you go to therock.com, which is spelled RAOC. If you go to therock.com/property valuation, you'll see a variation of this. This is what the donor fills out. The very first thing on it is, what are your goals? Why are you wanting to donate this property? Who are you wanting the proceeds to go to? And the reason this is the first question is because everything we do at the Real Agents of Change and at the Specialized Nonprofit are completely transparent, above board, credible. Think about it. This Specialized Nonprofit does this for Fidelity Charitables and Oregon University and the Girl Scouts, etc. So we want the donors' goals to be in alignment with ours, meaning we want them, for example, if the donor were to write here, I plan to get $1 million appraisal, and then maybe if you can sell it for 300, I want to just get one over on the government. Not going to happen. Everything we do is above board. We want information about the property itself. You just go back to that for a second. And this takes about 2 minutes to fill out. This is what we give to the Specialized Nonprofit and introduce them to the property donor. We want them to know a little bit about the property, and the Specialized Nonprofit can look up this property online. Within 24 to 48 hours, they will know, is this a good property donation? They will know, and they will be able to tell us. Now, this is what we call the roadmap to charitable gifts of real estate. I had someone a couple of years ago tell me, Cammie, can you just give me bullet points of what this looks like? So this map was created. And we end the meat and potatoes of this presentation with this, just to show you how easy it is to explain this. Now, number one, property donor donates real estate. Where they came from, were they on a donor list for a nonprofit? Did the realtor meet them from their realtor list? Is it somebody that found us online and filled out a form? Doesn't matter. What we want you to know, they are donating the property. 80% do it because it's the right thing to do. 20% of them do it because it's a business decision. Wherever they came from, number one, here's a piece of property. Now that the property has been evaluated and the donor wants to donate, we go down the road to number two. They donate to the Specialized Nonprofit, who takes title, assumes all risks, pays off mortgages, gives them cash. They generate those documents for the IRS. They can do all this within 2 weeks, give or take. Like if it's $1 million mortgage payoff, it might take a little bit longer, but no more than 30 days. Specialized Nonprofit has title. Donor is off. Donor got their tax deduction. They are not managing or maintaining the property. They're good. They're done. Specialized Nonprofit, now that they have title, let's go down to number three. It's kind of like hot potato. Now they need to list it to liquidate it. They're not in the business of managing and maintaining and holding property. They only took it because they knew it was marketable and would sell easily. So in this example, we're using Michael DeShavi to just show you what it looks like for a seasoned real estate professional. In his case, he's with EXP, to show up at number three. He took the listing at a full commission, and his only job is to list and liquidate that property. Now that the property's been liquidated, let's say it's that $1 million condo, let's go down the road to number four. Time to give a check to the nonprofit that the donor wants it to go to. In this case, we're just representing God's love. We deliver. This is a nonprofit that Michael likes to work with. And what we're showing is they received the money, no risk. Realty Gift Fund just gave them a grant, not one that they had to apply for, just one that they received. We have stories of walking into the nonprofit with a check, giving it to them. They didn't even know it was coming. 30,000, 50,000, 100,000. That is a good day for a nonprofit. So, number 4 is where you might think that it ends. But friends, we want to take you down to number 5, cause marketing campaigns. Here's where we talk about the leverage. Now that we're lead generating and listing and liquidating, we need to leverage. We need to let that nonprofit's community know that they just got a check for $500,000 from real estate and they'd love to see another one. We want to let the community know, for Michael's sake, hey, Michael DeShavi just listed this property. He can do it for your nonprofit. In other words, we can help you with PR, media exposure, business development, driving the awareness to facilitate more of these. Because imagine when there is a sign out in front of that property and the sign next to it says 100% of the proceeds of this property will benefit any nonprofit in this community. See, that's why we go back to number 1. People are seeing it in the news. They are seeing it on social media, email campaigns. Now, another donation comes to the table, rinse, wash, repeat. It gets donated to the specialized nonprofit. We have a charitable real estate specialist that lists and liquidates it. Number 4, the nonprofits get funded. Number 5, we let everybody know what's happening, and it goes on and on. This is the same 5 steps, just in a little bit different version. When people are part of our programs, they get this as part of their marketing. So that is the end of section 3. What I want to do now is just jump on in to section 4 to talk to you about the difference between becoming a specialist and a charitable real estate champion. So when it comes to specialist versus champion, any industry, any profession has specialists. Specialists are those people who know more than others in their industry. They, just like in the doctor world, you can be a specialist for brain surgery. You can be a specialist for gut health. You can be a specialist for feet, right? If you're in real estate, you can be a luxury brand specialist. You can be a charitable real estate specialist. There are people that know more than anyone else in their marketplace. They possess that knowledge, and it puts them in the top 1% of their marketplace. Now, champions, by definition, are people who fight for or speak up for another person or in favor of a cause. And when we are working with champions, they are charitable real estate specialists who now want to get into the last 4 keys. They want to get into lead generation and listing and leveraging and leaving legacy, because they are the ones that want to do battle for those that they care about. They're the ones that want to be number 1 in their marketplace. And so, once again, this first key, charitable real estate specialist, guess what? With what you just learned, all you got to do is take a test to get certified and pay a fee and become a specialist. You can then be introduced to the specialized nonprofit that you can meet with 3 times a week in an open live forum, and you get a handful of marketing pieces that are templated. You get on that map that we were talking about. You're a charitable real estate specialist for a year. The 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th of the keys are the ones that help you to step into being the champion. Now, whether you want to be a specialist or a champion, let me just take you over. I'm going to, well, I don't want to stop share. Hold on a second. I just want to show you the page where you could go over and become a specialist. I want to show you a couple of the links. You go to this store page on our website, and you can also get the book. But when you come here, you'll see specialists versus champions. It's really easy to learn what it, don't worry about the master class. You just took the master class. But when you become a specialist, there's all of these things that are included in it. You get promoted on the map. You can become an affiliate. You get the book. You get different campaigns. Happy to have you just go and take a look at this, therock.com/store. When you become a specialist, that's $34 a month that we actually have a one-time annual fee of $400 to become a specialist. Now, for people who do want to become a champion, you've got to qualify for that. We need to talk to you because when it comes to the champion, we're going to be doing all kinds of custom marketing for you. We're going to create your own, therock.com / Cammie Baker or Bob Smith or whatever your page is. We're going to provide to you a legacy launch pad so that the legacy launch pad gives you all you need to launch your legacy in 30 days. We give you all kinds of videos around that. This is just something for you to go look at your leisure. Now, what we want you to know is if you want to become a champion, this shows that it is a $3,000 upgrade. But if you qualify to be a champion, we do give you a discount code to bring that down substantially. You save at least $1,000 if you want to become a specialist. So after this master class, you'll get a list of all these links that you will know about. Just wanted to bring that to your attention.